Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming. It'd be nice if we could hold this meeting outdoors. It's just lovely tonight, but at least the breeze is something we can enjoy. Let's see. So we just came out of closed session, and I have something to report. The governing board voted 5-0 to exempt a Half Moon Bay High School student from compulsory attendance. This student has successfully passed the California High School Proficiency Examination. I would like to attend community college. So we took care of that in closed session. We are going to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
You have an FFA member.
Beautiful. Welcome. Come on up.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, item 7 on the agenda, adoption of agenda as presented and amended. I'd like a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Michael, second. Okay, and all in favor? Aye. All right, +1 I think I heard, right, Brenda? Your last official voting day, we've got to make sure we don't miss any of those. All right, next we have item 8 on the agenda, student, staff, and community recognition.
We're actually going to start this evening by asking President Papalardo to come up here and make a presentation.
Oh, I think. And it's going to be to Brenda. Brenda, who served the last year as our student member of the school board and voting member of the school board, which has been fantastic. We've appreciated your energy, your commitment, your thoughtfulness, being the voice of the students. You've done a fantastic job, and we're going to miss you a lot. So we have this certificate to recognize your fantastic service. So that's for you. And we also have a little something from the board and the staff that we'd like you to put towards your senior portraits.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Next, I'd like to invite up the Assistant Principal Jarrett Dooley from Half Moon Bay High School and Javier Gutierrez, teacher at Half Moon Bay High School. And as you can tell, FFA's in the house, and now you're going to find out why.
Yes, we are. We have some students to recognize and others that are here to support and speak a little bit about our program. But each year we have, and this year we had more students participate in the public speaking contest. So FFA goes beyond just hands-on agriculture and what we do in the classroom. So these students gave up their February break again to practice and go up to Napa for the sectional contest. So Serena Manfo participated in the job interview contest. And Cheyenne Verlinden did as well in the job interview contest. So did Ashley Oots. And Jenna Baxter got first place in our sectional competition and moved on to the regional contest. We went up north, took a road trip up there. So congratulations. And for the interview contest, students have to prepare a cover letter and a resume, and then are interviewed formally for a position related to agriculture. So these students are ready to enter the workforce already with that with those skills. And then we had 2 students. Shane Reagan is not here, but Damon George is, and this is a 9th grade competition where the students memorize and then perform the creed. So Damon George is going to come up and he'll also perform the creed. George is gonna, this is FFA Creed.
The FFA Creed by Ian Tiffany. I believe in the future of agriculture with faith born not of words, but of deeds. Achievements won by present and past generations of agriculturists. In the promise of better days, to better ways, even as the very things we now enjoy have come to us from the struggles of former years. I believe that to live and work on a good farm or be engaged in other agriculture pursuits is pleasant as well as challenging. For I know the joys and discomforts of agricultural life and hold an inborn fondness for those associations, which even in our discouragement, I cannot deny. I believe in leadership from ourselves and respect from others. I believe in my own ability to work efficiently and think clearly. With such knowledge and skills I could secure, and in the ability of progressive agriculture to serve our own and public interest in producing and marketing the product of our toil. I believe in less dependence on begging and more power on bartering. In the life of abundance, and in the final soul, I will make itself for others as well as myself, and less need of charity and more of it when needed. In being happy myself and playing square with those whose happiness depends upon me. I believe that American agriculture can and will hold true to the best traditions of our national life, and that I can exert an influence into my home and community, which will stand solid for my part in its learning test.
So now a couple of these students just wanted to address the board real quick, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
Morgan is going to have yours and Celeste.
Hi, my name is Morgan Butcher. This is my first year in FFA, and going into it, I didn't really know what it was. Like, I knew we did agricultural things and we had to have an SAE project, but like going to conferences this year and meetings and all sorts of FFA activities, it like really opened my eyes up to the agricultural world and like showed me how much of a difference I can make just to the world by knowing more about like where our food comes from or how to run a tractor. Like simple things like that, it like shows like a whole new generation of how we can change the world, like from confined farms to green grass farms. It just shows me in Mr. Gutierrez's class how much like a difference can make of where little things come from. So.
Wonderful, thank you.
So we just want to thank you for the support that we receive for our agricultural FFA program, which is growing and continuing to be really successful. We appreciate CTE being included in the local control and accountability plan, and we hope that our program will continue to be supported and succeed with locally controlled funding. The agriculture incentive grant was left off of Governor Brown's budget. The bill includes the AIG funding. AB 203 passed the Assembly on a, I always butcher this word, unanimous vote. It is likely that the Senate will pass the bill, but Governor Brown can still veto it, and if he vetoes it, our funding will no longer be here.
We also have many ideas to continue and grow our chapter and fundraising. We hope that you'll consider some of our ideas that we've done in the past. For example, trying to get a livestock facility on campus. Also, we want to try to work with elementary and middle school students to educate them about FFA and agriculture. And lastly is donkey basketball and an agricultural field day. So we'd like to thank you again for your continuous support.
I just wanted to ask all the students that are here and parents in support of FFA to stand up to show Cabrillo and the community how many people care about FFA. Mr. Corey is going to come up and have the next two presentations.
Good evening, President Papalardo, governing board members. It's an honor this evening to stand before you to recognize 9 retirees from the Cabrillo Unified School District, both certificated and classified. I think we may only have 4 present this evening, but we certainly will extend our best wishes to the other 5 retirees. The first employee I'd like to have come up is Tanya Goldberg. Put her hands together. We have actually a few gifts to give to our retirees. I'd really like to thank Patty Serrano for working to produce some outstanding certificates and actually resolutions, I believe, as well. We also have a little star, and this star is for you, Tanya, and it's Superstar, Star Achiever, Amazing, Star Performer, Supreme, Dedicated, Devoted, Above and Beyond, You're a Star. That's for you. And we also have a certificate from the governing board recognizing your exemplary years of service, 16 years in Cabrillo.
Awesome.
We also have a certificate from Kevin Mullins that's been signed, that should be displayed proudly at home. And I will just share that Tanya was probably one of the first employees that I met when I came to Cabrillo. I'm not sure if she remembers the moment. I think I bumped into her in the hallway. She was kind, sweet, and warm from day one. She'll certainly be missed in our district. She works in the migrant program and works with a staff focused on providing the best level of services to students in great need. Tanya actually, right now, has held a variety of clerical positions, but was recently, in the last few years, promoted to an administrative assistant 4 position that at the time we really didn't have. So we had to work collectively with the support of CSEA to create a new position for Tanya at the highest administrative assistant level. And I'm proud of having that position. I'm also very grateful that within our CSEA, Miriam is being promoted from our clerk position, community liaison position, of being working with Tanya in a 2-week period, training her for a new period. So a teacher in many ways, we thank Tanya for your exemplary 16 years of service.
I'd like to say that there's a lot of heart in Cabrillo Unified School District, and it will always be in my heart and the migrant program. Thank you.
The next individual we'd like to recognize and invite up to the podium is Barbara Lohman.
You can't go, Barbara. You can't go. You can't go.
Certificate from Kevin Mullins as well, and a star for you. And it was really interesting reviewing personnel files today. It's a really big one, too. It's really big. No, it really is an honor to kind of read and go back and look at the history. Barbara is a distinguished high school science teacher, department chair. So beyond just being a strong teacher within the department, she's a leader. And that certainly will be a void next year up at the high school and in the district. I didn't know there was a math and a counseling background and also elementary background as well. So I was really, really happy to see that included as well. We also are very fortunate to hire a science teacher for next year that I think was a student teacher that Barbara worked with. So the gift of giving, the teaching gift of giving continues. We're really, really appreciative of your 24 years in the district. Let's hear it for Barbara.
I just want to thank you for the opportunity to hang out with all these delightful children all these years. Thank you.
And the next individual we'd like to recognize this evening is a CSEA member who probably really needs no introduction, but nevertheless, let's invite Shirley Mate up. Shirley has a variety of different titles. I usually refer to her as boss. She has been an institution in our district, the face of Half Moon Bay High School, the face of the front office. I always occasionally get a call from Shirley or an email and saying, John, we need to talk. So within the next 2 minutes, I'm up at Half Moon Bay High School, and we're conversing. She has a good feel for the school, good feel for the students, and her leadership in the office, amidst a variety of changes over the years, has been greatly appreciated. She's a leader. She has a strong voice, not afraid to speak up when necessary, which I always appreciate. But we're certainly going to miss Shirley. She has been an institution at Half Moon Bay High School. We appreciate you, Shirley, for your 35 years of service. Wow.
I'd like to thank Cabrillo. They've been very good to me and my family. And I especially want to thank Elizabeth and John for their kindness and respect over the years. And you guys have always been there to listen, and I've always felt like I was heard. Thank you very much.
And finally, not to be forgotten, I'd like to invite up Margaret Ward. And Margaret and I go back as well. And I really appreciate Margaret always having the courage to speak up and appropriately so notifying me that it is not 36 years of service, it's 38 years of service. 38 years of service. Let's hear it for Margaret. And we have a variety of very important positions in the district. The individuals that work within our special education department, serving as one-on-one aides for special needs students is one of the most important jobs in the district. And I really feel honored and blessed to have seen Margaret in action up at El Granada, providing one-on-one services for our special needs students. It's not just the academic support, it's the personal support, it's the heart support. She loves our kids day in and day out, and you can feel it when you walk into the room.
Thank you,
I don't know if our CSEA rehire meetings will ever be the same without having Margaret in the room.
Thank goodness we're not having those anymore.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. The old days, if you will.
Yeah, the old days.
But the presence in the room and support for her colleagues as an advocating CSEA member was always to be respected. We will certainly miss you. Margaret's actually been retired since December, I believe.
January 1.
January 1. Stand corrected again. January 1. So hopefully she has already been enjoying some well-deserved days as a retiree. Anyway, Margaret, here's your certificate.
Am I going to say anything? Just want to say thank you for my years put in here and being respected for that. My children two children went through this district from kindergarten through high school. My son is here tonight. He was a Spanish teacher for a while at the high school. My daughter is now a AP biology teacher at Aragon, and she's at graduation right now at Aragon. But it's been an experience and a good one. And to work with colleagues like Shirley and some of the other staff has been wonderful. And thank you, Patty, and everybody involved. Thanks.
Sure, absolutely. Could we ask all the retirees just to stand one more time? We'd like to recognize you as a group.
Last photo. Nice.
Got it?
Last photo. Here you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your service. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, John, you're still going?
Yes, we have
I
more.
apologize.
No
Yes,
problem.
I did not know.
No problem.
That's all yours.
And next, we'd like to recognize our CUSD bus drivers. And in addition to our one-on-one paras, I try to explain to people every position is important, but if we don't have bus drivers, we can't get kids to school. And we're very blessed. We don't know if we have any bus drivers. I talked to Rick Wakeler today, our lead bus driver. He said, John, we're in bed at 7 o'clock resting. We got to get up early. And so I don't believe we have any of our bus drivers here this evening. But we have an incredible staff. I'm going to call out their names with regards to their years of safe driving. We have Larry Bauer, 5 years of safe driving for CUSD. Rick Rossi, 5 years of safe driving for CUSD. George Machado, 5 years of safe driving for CUSD. Joel Altamirano, 5 years of safe driving for CSCA. Carolina Vargas, 10 years of safe driving. And not to be forgotten, our recently promoted lead bus driver, Rick Wakeler, 30 years of safe driving for CUSD.
Thanks, John. Wow, that's fabulous. Thanks for all for serving. All right, let's see. So we'll move on to number. Make sure I'm on track. Number 9. Make sure I'm not missing anything. So these are comments from the public related to items not on this agenda, and we do have one green form for those who aren't here regularly. So we always welcome the public to speak at the board meetings, but we are not able to. Ed law to comment or interact on the comments of the person who's coming up. So there's no intent not to do that, just so everybody understands that. We have a familiar face, Marina Fraser. Please join us.
Thank you. Good evening, Board President Papayardo, Superintendent, board members, and John Corey. I'm here to thank you, but just before I do, I'm so happy that some of the FFA kids were here, because I can tell you my seeds of leadership really did start in FFA, and the best times in my teenage years were all the projects in FFA and our Animals to the Fair, and with the people who are retiring tonight, I can tell you Shirley Mate used to drive us to all our FFA events, and if we needed more hay or grain, they were put in the back of her green GTO. That was before she started, so up at the high school, so that shows you how long I've been out of school. And just in the last week, had another great time with Assistant Superintendent John Corey. For the past 5 years, we've been a part of the Rotary Chamber project, where we've gone up, and our portion is teaching the seniors how to succeed in the workplace. So we've done it for the Pescadero seniors, the high school, now that it's expanded to 1 day, where we've got 5 classes we go through. It's rewarding for me. We can really see that we get a lot out of the kids, and this year was the first year we had helped the Pilarcitos kids too, which was very nice. They sent a nice thank you note too. So rewarding for me, and John and I've got a whole shtick down how we're helping people succeed and learning the differences of working in the workplace and kind of the ins and outs and pitfalls, and some of the kids have followed up with us. But the real reason I'm here tonight is really on behalf of myself, although my council members certainly share this. We've got so much exciting things going on, and our partnerships we have right now with the work that you have with the gym going on, the city taking the skateboard property over to our area, the Boys and Girls Club being put in our community center, and on all of that, and a new library, the potential for that real soon. These are things that the community has asked for a long time, and I personally worked on fundraising for Boys and Girls Club for the last 20 years. Sandy Andrini didn't have kids at the time, I don't think, and we got together and we used to do all the auctions and fundraising, and for me that was one of the reasons I got involved in city council. It was like, why don't we have a Boys and Girls Club? And I think we all know the different stories, but you do have a council that is working with the school district to do this for the community and all the aspects and all our moving parts of it. So I want to thank each one of you individually for your encouragement to the superintendent to do what he needed to do to get this project done for us. So it's so valuable, and I know we're going to have a lot of grand openings and things coming in the future and some more fundraising, but I think for the community this is the greatest thing. That skateboard park, which is now Skateboard Plaza, the plans are beautiful, with Boys and Girls Club being in the gym, and the new gym that you're putting on the property, and just the things that will happen for the community there. And you know, I know we have lots of different little things to work out and all the ins and outs of parking, and we're looking at expanding our library too, but I think we can overcome all those obstacles, and I just want to thank you, because this is a great thing for all of us and all of the community. So thank you.
Thanks for coming tonight. Thank you. All right, number 10 is representative reports. CUTA, I don't think I see Tom, do I? No, I do not. All right, thank you. CSCA, Steve?
Good evening, board members,
Good evening.
superintendent,
Good evening.
audience. Yeah, I was thinking about we're losing a lot of experience in the district, and I'm very fortunate to be able to work with these ladies too. And also these ladies has been in CSAA in different positions there as well and done a lot of work. And there is a lot of knowledge. I can always go and ask them and get advice from these people. So it's a lot of experience we're losing from our district. So I want to thank you guys so much for everything you have done. It's been nice to be working with you all.
I miss you too, Steve.
Yeah, no, it's been really pleasant to work with you guys. I also hear all the stories from my wife who has been going through the school herself, high school. Especially Shirley, she remembered when she was at high school and then she worked in the district herself, but we worked with these ladies too. So you're going to be really missed. Next Thursday, I hope you're coming on the dinner we have.
Yes, I will be there.
That's good. Another thing I would like to say to, and especially everyone, is how important that the Measure B is passing. We need this money. We are not out of the hole yet. We are on getting better. We're getting there. But the school gonna need this for 4 or 5 years more, at least, to the state have get all the money back. Now we are paid, I think it's $80 for each, or 80 cents on each dollar from the state. And so this Measure B is important for the kids in our schools. We can keep our teachers, we can keep support staff, and yeah, that's what's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Great, okay, so next is number 11, reports, information, and presentations. And we're going to start with 11A, receive report on status of classroom technology integration plan.
I'm actually going to turn the projector on behind you, so you might want to.
I will be moving, yes.
So I wanted to point out that I am not Ann Bailey. Ann had a family emergency, and I am the substitute to fill in to share some really exciting information with you. It was important to Ann that we still be able to talk about the status of our 3-year integration plan for technology in the school district. And the plan was originally adopted a year ago in May of 2013, and this is an annual update on that plan. So first we want to look to have a recap of what the 3-year plan was about and what our intention was. And we'll start with the Tier 1 classroom technology. We wanted to be able to look at the tools that we needed for all teachers to have to support 21st century learning, our new Common Core standards, and the new assessments that would be coming our way. And the plan included a very detailed rollout to classrooms over a 3-year period, starting with 27 classrooms that teachers were recruited that wanted to be the forerunners for this project. The original timeline included the cohort 1 teachers, the 27 teachers in grades K through 12 who would have volunteered in any of the subjects. In spring of 2014, which we are now in, the plan was that cohort 2 would start to receive their technology, their devices, and that would be representative of all teachers in grades 3 through 5, and then any language arts or math teachers at the secondary, in order to be ready for the new assessments that were coming in the spring of 2015. And then cohort 3, which would be the third year out, the spring of 2015, our plan was to make sure that all teachers, all the rest of the subject matter teachers, had their devices and the new technologies. The SBAC changed our plan dramatically. The state decided that they wanted us to be able to use the assessments, and you've heard us talk about this earlier in the year. They wanted all students to take the practice test, the field test, online. So they wanted to make sure that all students in grades 3 through 8 took the practice test, and in grade 11, they wanted to make sure that those students also took online assessments. So what we did was we needed to use our labs, and some of the tablets that we had deployed and several sets of Chromebooks that we had deployed. And Anne would be very proud to tell you that we were successfully able to administer the field test. So we're going to look at the challenges that Anne and the team, the staff, the teachers, the site administrators, the site staff, the classified staff, Anne's tech staff with Stieg and his partners, challenges that they encountered along the way during our SBAC window. There were 20 days that we had to administer this test. The test required the installation of a secure browser on each and every device to be used for testing. Students took both language arts and math, even though we had originally been informed they would take one or the other. So the test took about twice as long. It was 3 hours long for each student and needed to be broken into 2 or 3 sessions rather than one. A good thing was that all the tests were managed online. The tests were assigned by the state, and our teachers administered the test. One glitch was the fact that we had to open each of those tests for students to be able to take the test. And any training materials and adjustments from the state were coming to us very late during the game. We actually got information all through our 20-day period about things that we needed to modify and adjust. With that, we're very proud to say that even with all those unknowns, we had students across the district in all those grades, 3 through 8 and grade 11, between 80 and 100% of students started the test, meaning that at different schools there was a variable rate of students that were able to start the test. About 66% to 100% of students, depending on the school and the individual situation, completed the test. The reasons for that is that some students answered all the questions but didn't hit the submit button, so their test didn't count. The test, another reason why we might not have seen a higher completion rate was that the test didn't count this time around, so that if a student was absent, we didn't go back like we dutifully do and make sure that students had a makeup test. So there's still more information. Anne and her team have been conducting surveys with the students, the staff, the teachers, the classified staff, and the parents to get more information, and we will have more detailed information to help us go forward next year.
Elizabeth, can I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
Going back, so the completion element, the second line, that was students who started 60, ranged in completion from 66%, some of them, whereas 100%, that was the range.
Right.
Okay.
So some of the observations that the team has made so far is that we had a difficulty making sure we could schedule into the limited number of labs that we had. It was doable, but with the rollout of our Chromebooks, which we'll talk about later, it'll be much easier going forward. We found through the process of preparing that tablets are not actually the most viable testing device that we could have had. The Chromebooks and the Windows XP stations worked well when we were using those. They worked much better than the tablets. And the big question that we had, I remember in the fall, was would the system crash? Would it work? Would we be able to have everyone online at the same time? And given that a majority of students in California were online at the same time with this test, it was very successful. So again, we do have more debriefing to do, but this is sort of our initial feedback on the SBAC and using our new devices. So going back to the plan, the 3-year plan, there were some professional development goals that were included in that plan. And they included making sure that teachers were involved in professional development about the basic deployment of technology, tie that to their professional development, make sure that whatever we did, we were building district capacity to be cost effective, enable the district and the sites to plan to deliver ongoing professional development focused on the Common Core standards with the necessary resources. And we wanted to make sure that our main focus was on the pedagogy, that technology is the tool that we use for curriculum and instruction in our classrooms. Last summer, we had 27 teachers who were the forerunners, and I think every one of them should be congratulated for their participation as Cohort 1 teachers. They participated in a 4-day institute last August. They've had 6 professional development days during the school year. They've worked together at grade levels, at sites, across grade levels and sites, and in interest teams based on what they wanted to focus their energies on, which was important to us and to them. They have developed their classroom technology integration and have presented to their peers. I have some pictures to show you in a few minutes. They've also attended outside opportunities. They've gone to the Google Applications for Educators, the GAF conference. We have more teachers going this summer. And they're busy right now planning the training for their Cohort 2 teachers. Cohort 2 represents the 66 teachers in grades 3 through 8 and in language arts and math at the secondary who will be part of next year's rollout. So to give you some visuals, we wanted to show you one of the cohort training days. This is a picture of the kindergarten first grade teachers at El Granada, and they were sharing applications. The Cohort 1 teachers were sharing applications with peers from other school sites. And in this group, just to show you the level of expertise, we had teachers that could basically have used any program on their computer, and there were teachers that needed help turning on the tablet. We also had the same activities for the teachers in the 4th and 5th grade, learning how they can integrate the use of their technology into their day-to-day instruction. The Cohort 1 teachers, this is a picture of them up at the high school. They were gathering together on May 19th so that they could plan for the August Institute. And after this, they have a system that they use to collaborate with one another online to continue the planning for summer. Something that I know that Anne and the Cohort 1 teachers and Tony, our integration specialist, are extremely excited about, based on the feedback from our teachers, they wanted workshops to choose from so that not every teacher had to have the same exact professional development. So for the first of the 2 days of our institute coming up in this August, teachers will be able to attend 2 to 3 of these sessions. And because not every Cohort 1 teacher is presenting at each time, they also will be able to choose several of these sessions. The second day is going to be more specific, and it will be supported, a supported work day where teachers will be able to develop lessons, video presentations, organize their lessons for Chromebook activities, and then tie activities to Common Core in their classrooms. During the rest of the school year next year, the Cohort 1 teachers and the integration specialist, Tony Baroni, will take the lead in helping to guide the work of the next 66 teachers. Again, some of our teachers in Cohort 2 will be attending the GAF conference that's coming up in July. And we've planned visits to one another's classrooms and to other sites to be able to observe different applications and integration of technology. This next piece was critically important for Anne to be able to share with you. I don't think ever in the history of this particular school district, or many, would you have seen a day where 1,700 Chromebooks arrived in a 18-wheeler truck. Most of us were off on spring break having a lovely time off, and Krista was here, Ed was here, several other people were here, and observed the truck come and unload carts and devices into the warehouse and the bus barn, and into a storage unit because it wouldn't fit into one location. 900 tablets or Chromebooks were delivered. We have at the high school, this was last summer, I'm sorry, I'm looking at September 2013. The original was 27 carts with the 900 tablets. There was a blended model at the high school where they used both the laptops and the tablets. We soon learned that we needed external keyboards for the SBAC testing and for writing. The apps are easy to track, but they're not easy to manage remotely. So if Anne had an application that she wanted to put onto all the tablets, Stieg and his team had to go to each and every device to put that on. You can't do it wholeheartedly or wholesome. And they've had just a few breakages, but most of those things are under warranty, and we have enough, we've talked about that previously as well, that we would make sure we had spares to swap out and there wouldn't be a student without a device. This is the piece that Anne wanted us to see, was that we now have, for this second rollout, 47 carts arrived, 1,700 Chromebooks. Already in just the 3 weeks, 4 weeks that those have been in classrooms, half of the classrooms, the teachers have been using them without any specific training. They're so excited to have the devices. Students have been and will continue to log on using a Cabrillo Google account. The Chrome console provides ease of management within the system, and they have the same tools that apply as with the tablets. So here's some pictures to get some visuals of how much this looked like when it arrived. This is Stieg, Tino, and Jeff getting ready to get ready to accept all these devices. When it arrived, there were 50 individualized palletized carts. So if you imagine what a pallet looks like, and it's stacked high, there were 50 of those. And then there were 9 pallets holding the 1,700 Chromebooks that would be coming right after that. This is a picture in the warehouse of some of the carts that you can see right here. There's 7 carts sitting here. And then these are the Chromebooks that are still packaged in the boxes on the pallets. And then this is also in the warehouse, and this is Eric, and he is busy tagging and scanning and loading programs and configuring the devices, each of the 1,700 to go into the cartons. So here's the piece that we asked earlier to have more information about. We wanted to know what it really looked like in a classroom. And we had a number of teachers that wanted to come and share with you, and for the amount of time that we had this evening and wanted to give you, we've put it together in pictures, or I have some actual presentations that the students have created for you to see. So starting at Hatch, the elementary students in Mr. Macias's classroom are using their tablets to do their research reports on the missions. And you can see how easily the students, the natives, we call them technology natives, right, Steve? And then there are the technology immigrants, and that would be many of us, or you in the younger generation. And then there's those in my generation who are the aliens, technology aliens. Here's the students. Kate just got that.
I'm an alien.
Here are the students working in the classroom gathering data for their report. They've got the headsets, their earbuds on. And here are the pieces that I really hope that I can share with you, the richness of what is gathered here, and share with you some of the things that the students have been creating in their classrooms with support from their teachers and our tech staff. So Animoto is a cloud-based video creation service that produces videos from photos, video clips, and music into video slideshows. And Miss Nielsen's English class, Miss Nielsen, if you remember, is the teacher from Half Moon Bay High School who's up to be Teacher of the Year. Don't forget to vote every day until June 1st. So we have 2 more days. She used this in her English language learner Sedai class, and she likes it because the video that the students can create and use has really short bursts of text, and I'm just going to play a couple of seconds of it for you. Maybe. they just took some pictures, some vocabulary words, some links from other areas, and they were able to pull it into a clip like that. The next is a Google presentation that 2 ninth grade students collaborated on using their Chromebooks, and they wanted to create a movie. And Google Presentation is one of those apps that we can use that helps to create movies. It looks a little bit like PowerPoint to me, but I think it's a heck of a lot more sophisticated than PowerPoint. They're talking about a movie, and you will be able to read some of these slides. Some of them are a bit too dark to see in the room right now, but they're talking about what they need to do to be able to create a movie with a proper storyline, plot, that would be visually appealing, but basically using no money is what they're talking about. And they talked about how they can use YouTube and TED Talks, and how it doesn't need to have a lot of money to make a movie. It doesn't need those millions and millions that they use in Hollywood. So they talked about what do they need to have to build their movie. What would they need to start with? Costumes, props, they want a green screen. They talked about what their plan would be, what kind of equipment they would use, and you notice they even refer to the fact that they're going to use mediocre equipment to prove that you don't need millions of dollars to make a movie. They talked about how much time it's going to take them to create the script and to do the filming, and how much time they thought that it would take to do the editing. They talked about what their difficulties might be, and I think they felt that it would be getting everyone that they needed to be in the right place at the right time doing what they needed to do, following the director. And they felt that they'd be successful if they had a movie that had a runtime of at least 30 minutes, that had quality special effects, that had a good, strong storyline and a plot, that had an interesting background and character development. The next is probably the most complicated that we have to share with you this evening. ThingLink is something that helps you create and discover rich images, make images come alive with music, video, text, other images, and more. And Platty Covijo, the French teacher up at Half Moon Bay High School, sent us these examples of what she uses ThingLink for in her classroom. I know after you see this, you're all going to want to go home and try out ThingLink. So the arrows at the top of the screen that are across here are showing you a multitude of ways in which the students can use devices and technology to support their learning in French class. And you can run across the top of each one, and it tells you how students use different devices, different applications to learn French. The one that I would like to share with you is this student who made a commercial. And basically, I won't read it to you line by line, but I did translate it on behalf of Anne, who is fluent in French and intended to read you each sentence. Basically, the boy doesn't know how to speak French, and he wants to learn to speak French. So what he does is he tries a book. The book doesn't work. He tries a dictionary. The dictionary doesn't work. And then he uses the internet. Then at the bottom of the screen, the circles with the stars show you ways in which Patty, the teacher, uses technology to support her work in the classroom. And the green star is the one I wanted to share with you. She's talking about School Loop and how she can communicate with the parents and the students, how she can create lessons on School Loop. The one that I want to share with you is how technology has helped her to develop professionally and allows her to collaborate with her colleagues, not needing to be in the same area. gives you an idea of the different tools that she has there with the Thing link. There's probably 15 examples there. And then the last one is from a kindergarten teacher at Farallon View, Jenny Scarpacci, and these are her first graders and how they use technology to support their learning.
And then there was a bee storm at our recess. We did reading workshop in a different way, and we did Google Drive, and then
This is a fluency practice passage. First, listen to me read the story fluently, smoothly, and with expression.
So this is our pattern It took a really long time, and so we counted to 100, and it's the 100th day of school, and it was super fun. And me and my friend Kimberly did it, so it was super fun. And Lucas did it all by yourself, and so we hope that you like it too.
So those are just a few of the ways that our Cohort 1 teachers have been utilizing technology in their classrooms. The last piece of our report this evening is to give you the specifics of the next steps as Anne and her team and our staff and teachers and our staff believe we need to be focusing on. We need to really take a look at the special education classrooms and define the needs that we need to provide support in those classrooms. Printing, we need to address the printing issue and hopefully be learning to print less and share more. Setting up cloud printers and be able to network our work and not have to have as many individualized printers. We need to talk about the projection needs. We need to focus on learning from each other and from other programs that have been using the GAF and the mobile devices longer than we have. We need to continue to understand the role of technology in implementing Common Core and transforming and invigorating our classrooms across the school district. And we need to make sure that we have the tech support to match that need. So that's our report for this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Elizabeth, so how would you characterize sort of the state of readiness isn't necessarily the right word. How are the teachers feeling about this? Are they excited? Is there a high level of concern? Is there multiple camps kind of on how they're viewing this? And I'd welcome any principals to comment as well. I know it's kind of a broad question, but what does that feel like? It gives a sense.
I think there's a good sense. I think that data that Ann had, that when we rolled out those devices after or during spring break and they got them and they came back, more than half the teachers were already using them without any training. So I think that's a really good sign. I think there's been a great deal of support and checking in and surveying teachers to make sure that their needs are being answered. That sort of list of various workshops that teachers can attend came directly from the teachers saying we don't all want to sit in the same session and get the same level because we're not all at the same level in utilization of technology and devices. And I think I have a sense that things are going very well, and once we got past that hurdle of recognizing that we needed to have the SBAC online, the kids, it was completely natural for. They had no issue with it whatsoever. And once we had trust and faith that it was all going to work and not crash, then I think when we got over that hurdle, we've also done more surveys about what that was like, and we need to look at what we need to do differently next year. So any of the principals have anything specific examples or any other feedback?
Thank you.
I have a question. The issue with the tablets was the keyboarding.
And the smallness of the screen. Smallness of the screen and the keyboarding.
And certain apps too, right?
Right.
Using certain apps.
You can only have certain apps on it.
Because of not having as big a keyboard kind of thing. I mean, not as many keys or something. Is that kind of the issue? Is the apps issue?
Well, and how many you could load.
Oh, how many apps?
Whereas the Chromebook is cloud-based.
What about the projection issue? That was projectors, you mean?
So like our, the LCD projectors that we have, the smart boards, the different, to make sure that those needs are being met in the classrooms where teachers still don't have that projection. You're welcome.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
I'll get the lights for just that brief moment.
Thank you.
Moving in.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Alrighty, this is gonna be Crystal. There we go. Receive, 11B, receive report on preliminary budget for 14-15 school year. Welcome. And I will turn off the lights and I'll move.
It was a good walkabout, Michael.
I think we need another tree back there. There you go.
I'm gonna have to check out this thing link and see if I can spruce up my budget. Make them a little bit more exciting than our standard PowerPoint. So this is the 14-15 preliminary budget for our district. We do have reason to be optimistic for the 14-15 school year. However, we are definitely not out of the way of still facing challenges ahead of us, especially in our two out years. There we go. So the overview of this preliminary budget includes the general fund estimated balance for 13-14, the key principles that were used to create this district budget, the revenue and expenditure assumptions for 14-15, the general fund budget for 14-15, the LCFF funding formula, multi-year projections, and what our next steps are. The 13-14 general fund estimated fund balance is where we estimate to be at the close of our books that will be presented to you in September. This 419 is restricted federal dollar, well actually it's restricted dollars, it includes federal and state dollars. Much of that is the Common Core that we have. There's a little bit of EPA in there and some restricted lottery money that we will be using to purchase some textbooks next year. The key principles of this budget, what I really tried to focus on was the implementation of the state standards, the access to standards aligned materials, so the ability for us to purchase textbooks, to make sure that we are still keeping up our maintenance budget to provide healthy and safe facilities for our students, to address the Smarter Balance assessment, obviously focus everything around enriched instruction, and definitely keep up the strong focus of PD that we have in this district. The 14-15 LCFF revenue assumptions. This is based off of the FICMAT calculator that they issue to all districts, that we can plug in some of our wonderful numbers and they formulate what our revenue will look like under the LCFF formula. In 13-14, so in our current year, we are still a basic aid district. But right now, for next year, for 14-15, we are scheduled to flip from basic aid to LCFF. So our property taxes will be less than what the state is projecting to fund us revenue-wise. So that's what creates the flip from basic aid to LCFF. When you're in basic aid, the EPA is left, which is the Education Protection Act, which was the Prop 30 that we voted on a couple of years ago. In basic aid districts, that 632 for us, it remains outside of the calculation. When we flip to LCFF, it rolls into our total funding. And then these are our property taxes here. The hope is we only flip once. I have concern that we could flip back to basic aid in 16-17 with the way that the property taxes are rising and just with the growth. So it'll be interesting as I learn more about the COSI to see how good I am, if I'm a gambling girl or not. The general fund revenue assumptions include the state revenue sources, which include the state aid and our property tax, federal revenues, which are Title I migrant, special ed, and Title II. Other state revenues include special ed, our mandated cost reimbursement, our lottery money, any ad money that could be available, and after school ed and safety. The other local revenues include interest, transportation, and parcel tax. Hopefully at the budget adoption, our other local revenues will also include our CEF allocations as well as all of our PTA allocations and our local revenues that we bring in from our parent groups and donations.
What's the transportation revenue? What does that refer to?
So the transportation revenue, we do get funding from the state on transportation. However, it's a little tricky because we're basic aid and we have been basic aid. They basically give it to you and then they take it back through a fair share. But it is counted in this other local revenue, in that 2.8 million. But unfortunately, they will take it back from us until LCFF is fully implemented.
And then the interest comes from the bond?
Interest comes from bond and our federal programs we are allowed to keep. On federal, it's like no more than $100. But we do earn some money on our cash that's in the bank.
But, so that will be diminishing, the interest on the bond
Yes.
will diminish year over year?
That's on, yes,
yeah.
that is separate as well. Our contributions, they net to zero. They include special ed, transportation, our ongoing maintenance. We do have a parcel tax. What our parcel tax is bringing in doesn't quite fund what we have allocated for parcel tax programs, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And then the athletic stipends.
Obviously, I just want to say out loud that says $24,000 up for parcel tax, but total funding to the district is 1.7.
Is 1.7,
Right.
yes. And to kind of go off of that, so in 13-14, we were short about, we were 1.7. We brought in about 1.6, so we had a difference of about $13,000. And the parcel tax fund's about 22 FTE, so full-time equipment, full-time equivalent. So that's a lot of, that is a lot of positions.
No question.
So our expenditure assumptions, as you can see that our salaries and benefits are a big chunk. That's 22 million. But what I would like to draw your attention to, something that is exciting for next year, is the books and supplies. You know, with the textbook adoptions that we are trying to do, and with the ability that we've been able to roll over some restricted lottery money from previous years along with Common Core, we do have some money set aside to purchase some textbooks over the next couple of years. So that's definitely a great move in direction. Our other outgo, that is, that kind of lumps together when we have students that we serve outside of districts that the county may serve for us. That includes also what we pay to the county for support in our systems. And that ranges anywhere between $490 and about $550. So it'd be nice, the more that we work, that Fiscal Services works with the special ed department to try to really bring some of those kids back home to our district and hopefully get some of that money to stay in-house. The LCFF phase in entitlement. So this is current year, and then year 1, 2, and 3. I'll call them that because of the way that we're referring to the LCAP later today. This is our target. So this is where the state wants us to be. I can't wait till we get here. But we're right here. And this funding rate is the tricky part. The funding rate is determined each year. It's through recommendations from the Department of Finance to the governor and then voted on. I have seen these numbers bounce around all over the place. The Department of Finance will have a number, School Services will have a number, FICMAT will have a number, and then we're supposed to pick one to go off of and pretty much hope that we're on target. So FCMAT seems to be a fairly reliable source, and through the direction of our county ed office, we are going with FCMAT, which is the 28. As long as the revenues stay up in California, this 28 looks strong. This I'm a little worried about. You know, our unemployment in California is still one of the highest in all of the states, and that could create a little bit of a problem with us for 15, 16, and 16, 17. So the LCFF entitlement before the minimum.
So can you define the funding rate? I mean, I understand what the two words mean, but what's the calculation? What's the implication of the funding rate? What's that measured against?
So this 28% is what the state feels that they can put us towards meeting our target. So as we get closer to, so this year, they gave us 11.78% towards the target. Next year, they're giving us 28% towards the target. So this is just based off of the revenue that is received in California and what they forecast the revenue to be. So this was, this was at like 14% 4 to 6 months ago, and now it's doubled.
Is that the gap closure? Is that the percent of gap closure
Yes.
year to year?
Yes.
So whatever the gap is between where we are and where we're supposed to be,
yep.
That's how much the gap will, that's how much that gap will be closed in that given year.
Of the gap.
Right, of the gap.
Right.
And
so
the gap,
if it's 5 million is the structural deficit, they'll give us 28% of 5 million, it just as an example.
As a, yeah, using.
I'm not saying that's the actual number.
Yep.
Thank you.
So what gets a little risky for us here is in 15, 16. As you can see, this funding rate of 33, you know, almost 34% is huge for us. But our parcel tax also goes away in 15, 16 without the success of a renewal. So if this does not remain at 33 and our parcel tax is not renewed, we are going to be in a world of hurt. So Dr. Warwick has done a wonderful job of explaining to all of us on a wonderful metaphor of how LCFF picks up basic aid districts. So one night, I couldn't sleep, as always, and I was trying to figure out a way that I could communicate it to everyone. So as you can see, we live on the coast, and this is, you know, obviously, I guess, low tide. I'm still learning. You know, the tide is out, and here we are right there, just about ready to get picked up for next year. And all these other guys are still out here. So we'll start floating next year, and hopefully tide won't roll back out. And we'll stay floating and just kind of pick us up and get us some extra money over the next few years. This is a very important slide. For the multi-year projections, we're going to look at 14, 15, 15, 16, and 16, 17. You know, this 14, 15 year, we have the parcel tax. We're doing a lot better. We're not deficit spending. I mean, how great is that? We can see here that our revenue is more than our expenditures. Our ending balance is not exactly where I'd like it to be, but it's definitely growing. And then we have a little bit of a fallout here when we cannot include the parcel tax until it is successfully renewed, hopefully. So you can see that over these next 2 years, that will be deficit spending about $500,000 a year, and that the revenue is less than what our expenditures are, and our reserve and ending income balance is significantly going down. So
without the parcel tax renewal, we have a structural deficit.
We have a structural deficit, and this is growing. I think that this is actually not as conservative as what you will probably see at budget adoption. As the numbers firm up and we get the revenue forecast for 15, 16, and 16, 17, I believe that this will grow upwards to $750,000.
Thanks for that clarity.
So the next steps is to bring back the budget at the June 26th board meeting. I also will be preparing budget books for all of the sites, and do site training on budget monitoring, really giving the sites the tools to manage their budget and look at live data to see where they're at and really get into the nitty gritty to see where we can spend money smarter and work smarter, not harder, as I always like to say. You know, I just would like to reiterate again that, you know, 14-15 we definitely can be optimistic, but, you know, the federal dollars are still being cut by 5%. We're not really sure when that will be restored. They kind of flip-flop on that as well. So it's essential that the parcel tax is removed.
Thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, any questions from any of the other board members relative to Crystal's presentation? No.
No,
Okay. Thank you. All right, so those both covered. So 12 is communication from board members. Okay.
Thank you. I'd like to begin. May was a very busy month for me. I just want to share with you that on the 15th of this month, I went to the Youth Summit at Cunha. Fabulous experience. On the 16th, I was lucky enough to be a judge for the talent show by a fundraiser by the junior class. And there's a little bit of talent out there at that high school. Lots, actually. On the 21st, I went to, with some colleagues, I went to the Boys and Girls Club Unity Dinner, a fabulous evening, and it was reiterating what Marina Fraser had to say about the two entities of the school district and the city working together on lots of community improvements. The 22nd, I got to go to the career day for 8th graders at Cunha. Catherine Weber and her team did an excellent job. The 8th graders were excited about possibilities, and the best part was that they were former students who were sharing their job experiences and traits with our current students, and that was a very fun thing to see. And then yesterday I was up at the high school and got to witness the crash. I needed tissues for that one. I didn't get to go today, but it was the part 2 follow-up. But I continue to be blown away, totally impressed by not only the leadership on our sites, but the involvement of staff in student projects and the enthusiasm of the students. Every parent should be able to visit sites and see the things that I got to participate in this last month. So I was a very busy month.
Okay, we need you to do more. That was not enough. No, what a busy month. Thank you for sharing. Michael, I know you're bursting to share because we chatted a little before, so please.
It was nice to actually be able to get out and visit our schools. I also was at the Boys and Girls Unity Dinner, and that was a very special evening. It's great to see Dr. Rourke honored and several of our students honored, and some of the people in our community that have worked together for this amazing future we have ahead of us for our community. I had the pleasure of joining Dr. Rourke up at Kings Mountain Elementary School for an informal visit representing the board and the teaching staff, and I was empowered and pleased by how that meeting went and the dialogue and just the positivity of it. I represented the board for my second year at the Los Listos educational program, the advancement, and I know Jim Ward was there again, and as well this year, Elizabeth, Dr. Shuck was there, and that I think still is the most heartwarming event that I attend the last couple of years. It was wonderful, joyful celebration, and really impressed by the staff that they have and the folks and just the energy of all those young parents and the potential that's in that room. You know, it's palatable. And just wonderful to be there for that. I represented the board for the first time at the middle college graduation that was held at CSM this week. Again, Dr. Shuck attended with me, and I was able to award our lone middle college student graduate, Mr. Michael McIntosh, with his diploma, and have an opportunity to witness for the first time in my career the unique nature of the middle college students. And that was impressive. And then last night, I manned the Measure B phone bank and participated.
Nice.
And it was really fun. It was there were a bunch of my friends, people I knew on the list, and that felt very special to me. It made me feel like I was really part of the community, and at the same time, I was able to talk to some folks who I haven't met and encourage all of them to vote for Measure B. And I also was very impressed with the facilitator, Amy Risk, and her enthusiasm and attention to detail and getting us up to speed on how, and comfortable on how to make those calls. And of course it was craft beer night too, and that helped.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's my report.
Dare I ask how many more days till after you're retired?
6 days.
Thank you for
I went
reporting
to
on
my
that.
last staff meeting Wednesday.
Congratulations. We can all aspire. Freya?
Yeah, I was happy to attend the Cunha band concert, which included the 5th grade students who've been learning this year in our pilot music program. So that was really exciting to see that happen. They also we got to hear the 6th grade students, and they all got to meet each other, so that next year when the 5th graders are in band Cunha, they'll know somebody in the next grade up. And I'm looking forward to hearing about how the pilot program has gone and moving forward into the next year. I understand it is going forward, but it'd be great to have a report on that at some point. And then I just wanted to do a call out to the technology that we've been getting and to Measure S. I think sometimes people forget what we passed our bond 2 years ago for, and people don't often connect it. We know that we're going to be getting buildings and that Hatch is going to be remodeled first and the other elementary schools, and we're going to be doing safety upgrades. But some of the things that aren't seen are that whole wireless network behind it and the new technology that's coming in, and that was thanks to the community and the voters being willing to support our school district with Measure S. And that, of course, brings us to Measure B, which is vitally important, and we need to all not only get out and vote, but remind everybody that we know to get out and vote. It's critically important for our work here, for the children, for all the wonderful things that we hear about. So I urge everyone to do whatever they can. There's lots of opportunities in the next couple of days. Going to the Focus website. You can phone bank, precinct walk. You can even call on election day, which can be very rewarding, and remind people that this is an important thing for our community. And I have faith that our community can do it again. So thank you all to everybody.
Ray, I have some extra signs over here if anyone would like to decorate their lawn or someplace in their community. There are a few back here, so.
Put in your car too, I guess. Drive around town with it.
Thank you, Freya.
No rules. I just want to report that the Cabrillo Education Foundation is busy at work trying to formulate the goals for the allocations for next year. So stand by, they're coming soon, and we look forward to a lot of exciting ideas being put forth to help the CEF spend some of the money that's growing from the interest of the endowment. Thanks.
Great. Well, related to CEF and the 5th, 6th Cunha concert, I went there as well. I had a trumpeter in the event, and it was a blast. And I just want to thank CEF, because without CEF, that program wouldn't happen. So great work there. I mean, from literally nothing to all these kids being exposed to music, and not all of them will go on to do band and so forth, but they're getting the chance. They're figuring out they love music. They have the skill. And I want to thank Miss PS as well, because she's doing a fantastic job. I also attended Fiesta, which traditionally has been at Hatch, which is a celebration with the immersion program there, but it's included the English-only program as well at Hatch, and now we've moved it and made it bigger, more community event, and it was incredibly well attended and super fun. And I do have photos of a certain superintendent in the dunk tank. So if anybody is interested in seeing those,
Yeah.
oh, he got dunked.
I got dunked.
Oh, yeah, you got dunked. And
by a 7-year-old.
And
A 7-year-old, that's embarrassing.
made the kid happy. It was
Good
fun.
arm, that's what he said.
And let's not forget there was a nice little breeze, so thank you for risking life and limb.
Invigorating.
Yep. I also got a chance to be at the Boys and Girls Club community dinner. It was just fantastic, incredibly well done. But I want to thank the Boys and Girls Club for all they do for the community, not just the gyms, but taking over Parks and Rec from the city, and they're starting a girls golf as a test program. I mean, there are no limits as far as I can see with what they're willing to do to support the kids, and there's a great partnership between them, the school district, and the city as well. So that was great to say. And I think you said it incredibly eloquently about the parcel tax and its critical importance. We still have a structural deficit. Nothing's changed on that front, and literally every single vote counts. As my friend Freya likes to remind us, specific of asked theirs by one individual vote. Everybody counts, so do your part.
Sorry, 22 FTEs supported by that.
22 FTEs supported by
That's huge.
parcel tax, yep. It's a real impact, so. That's all for me. Brenda, we're very interested to hear about your thoughts here in your last meeting.
This is my last board report. I'll start off with Kings Mountain. Kings Mountain Elementary mural is almost finished. The distinguished flag will be hoisted very soon. The distinguished school ceremony is on June 13th. Hatch, board members already said some of them. The fiesta, where Mr. Ward and other teachers were in the dunk tank. Apparently the superintendent was there too. And then the 5th grade students performed with the band students at Cunha. Students and teachers went on many field trips, including the Hillier Aviation Museum, Recycle Works, and the San Francisco Symphony. The Hatch Leadership Club students are currently working on final projects in the music concerts for all grade levels start this week. So I'm going to go to high school. So prom is this Saturday at 6. Finally getting that over. Local scholarship night is happening right now. Junior senior banquet is next Wednesday, and that is where my class will be serving dinner for the seniors, and we will have a slideshow for them as they look back. We will include pictures from elementary school to high school. So that's our gift to them. And lastly, we had our every 15-minute program yesterday and today. I was fortunate enough to be one of the student coordinators on that, so it was really exciting to see all of our planning put together in these 2 days. Started off with the car crash yesterday. Very realistic. Students they didn't know what to say after they heard all the radio calls. They saw the ambulance and everything take the students to the hospital, and then today was kind of the big eye-opener with the finalized video put together where students they see that their fellow classmates were actually taken to the morgue, were actually taken to the hospital. Parents were notified. They see the police go to the parents' house and say, your son or daughter has died in a car crash. They also got to see the DUI driver who was taken to the county jail, booked, put into a cell. So that was a big eye-opener for the students today. Along with the funeral, that was big. I mean, I think when they saw the casket, they didn't know what to say because they were like, wow, this is real. One of us could be in there. So this program is very good, especially right before prom, grad night, and all of the events coming up. This is very good. So Mr. Julie's not here, but he was one of the big people there that helped us put it together. So
It's great to hear it had such an impact. Thank you for sharing that.
that's all I have.
All right. Well, thank you for serving again.
Yes.
I'll be here during the summer too. I'll be working with the KTK students this year again. So.
Oh, good.
And I would like to introduce your next year student board representative, Irma Ramos.
Welcome, Irma.
Yeah, welcome.
She's a sophomore this year, will be junior next year.
So will she be in the chair, let's see, in August, well, June? When we
June.
meet?
Yeah.
All right,
She will be in the chair. Exciting.
welcome.
Fantastic. All right, well, Superintendent, it's your opportunity.
Yeah, a lot of activity. They don't call it the 90 days of May for no reason. We're at the 29th, so that's pretty amazing. You know, this past few weeks has been open house season at the elementary schools. Kings Mountain had theirs on May 1st. El Granada and Hatch held theirs on the same night on May 15th, and Fairlawn Views was last night. The middle school and Half Moon Bay High, Cunha and Half Moon Bay High held their events earlier in the year, and we just heard, you know, that tonight's scholarship awards night at the Half Moon Bay High School, so a lot going on. I also had I'm not sure if pleasure is the right word, but I had spent the last 2 days at the every 15 minutes assemblies, and was particularly interested in attending because both of my daughters were able to experience this at the same time when one was a junior and one was a freshman at their high school, and just talking about it afterwards, the impression it made on them, and learning more about the program, but never having experienced it personally, I was very interested. And Brenda did an excellent job in describing everything, but you know, just another impression was how every student was brought out yesterday to the football stadium, and of course when you have nearly 1,000 students, you know, come down and sit in the bleachers, there's a level of noise and, you know, giggling and excitement, and, you know, it's kind of unexpected. This was, you know, it wasn't a widely advertised as that assembly was going to be happening. And then the calls started over the loudspeakers, and it just got quieter and quieter. And, you know, I mean, Brenda talked about seeing the young man who was the driver, you know, go through a full alcohol assessment in front of everybody, be turned around and put handcuffs on and led into a CHP squad car and put in the back seat, driven off, but then to have one of our students who was pronounced had died at the scene, literally placed in a body bag and put into a coroner's van. At the conclusion of that assembly, it was, you could hear a pin drop. You know, over 1,000 people there, and when they walked out, it was very somber, and it clearly had an impact. And you know, Ben did a good job of describing everything that happened today. And you know, my only lasting impression is that yeah, it had an impact today, and let's hope that it had that the impact is lasting, because you know, we know the statistics. Every 15 minutes, someone in the United States dies because of a drug or alcohol-related accident. And so it continues in our society, even though we all know the dangers. Allison Silvestri closed the event today by asking people to slowly stand. One were those for people who had, you know, witnessed or had someone in their lives pass away in that way, and you know, there was a number of people stand. But then it came to, how many of you know someone who has, you know, ever driven impaired? And there wasn't a single person sitting, not a single person in there. Over 1,000 students, or 1,000 students plus, you know, another close to 100 adults in there, and everyone was standing, because everyone knows that. Everyone's had that experience. So very moving. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Allison, for bringing that to our community. And then just one final thing. I'd just like, you know, to let the board know that I've been elected to the San Mateo County Special Education Local Plan Area Governing Board for the next 2 years, which will give us a great opportunity to have a greater and stronger linkage between our district and the county's funding and services system for special education students. So that. I don't have.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's all?
That's it.
That's it, okay, great. Alrighty, so number 13, consent items. So I need a motion to approve the consent items as presented. And without discussion, I have a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda items.
All right, second.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Excellent. And we have Brenda, +1. Yep, great. Alrighty, let's move on to 14 action items. So first one is 14A, approved proposal for textbook adoption for Half Moon Bay High School.
Sorry, I was still reflecting on what Dr. Rorick and Brenda just shared. Last month, we brought to you a number of textbooks from Half Moon Bay High School for perusal. They've been on display for the last month, and we would like this evening to bring them back to you for approval so that we can purchase them and have them for our students to use next August, or this coming August.
All right, someone like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so approved. All right, 14B is approved contract with Andrini Brothers, Inc. to provide construction renovation services for the Half Moon Bay High School sports field. Want to make a comment?
Yeah, just a comment, and this applies for 14C as well, because these both these contracts go hand in hand. We've taken an extraordinary extra step to consult with DSA, even though we have confirmation from both our inspector of record, DSA certified inspector, and our architect that the project is exempt from their overview. But we've asked them to take an additional look at it, and because of that, we're still awaiting their opinion. And so therefore, we're asking the governing board to make a particular motion that would authorize myself to enter into those contracts once we've gone through that process.
Okay. You have that motion?
Sure. I move that the board delegate to the superintendent and his designees the authority to award a publicly bid contract for performance of the Half Moon Bay High School track and field renovation project, subject to ratification by the board.
Second, great, all in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. All right, 14C, we have a motion for that as well.
I move that the board delegate to the superintendent and his designees the authority to award a contract to Field Turf pursuant to the California Multiple Award Schedule for replacement of artificial turf for the Half Moon Bay High School track and field renovation project, subject to ratification by the board.
Second, thank you, Kurt. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, +1, great. Thank you.
Excuse me, just one has already been, no, never mind. I'm thinking of something else.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah.
All right. 14D, approved contract with Opening Technologies, Inc. to complete the Safe School Initiative upgrade. Very important.
Yes, it is very important, and we have Ed Watkins in the room here, who has been instrumental in pulling this particular contract together, along with Crystal Leach, who's done a lot of the negotiating as well. But this, and I just want to be able to jump in on this because last August, when the governing board approved the facility master plan, there was a direct intention by the governing board that we move ahead with some safety first projects that would touch all schools. And this particular project, we have heard from our staff, from our teachers, support staff, even our administrators, that we need to address and provide the ability for teachers and staff to safely lock their classroom doors, office doors, their workplace doors, without having to go out into hallways, without having to go outside of buildings, and do that where they're exposing themselves personally and any students that they have charge of to the potential danger that's there. So with this contract, this summer, we will go through all of the doors in the entire district and install the so-called Columbine locking systems. And when we open school next year, we'll have an additional level of safety for not only for our students, but for our employees and for community members who are on our campuses. Crystal, do you want to add any detail about the contract itself?
No, I think you did a wonderful job. If the board does have any questions, we do have a representative from Open Technologies also here to answer any questions of scope or schedules.
Ed, if you wouldn't mind just talking a little bit about the length of the project and how you see it playing out in the district and so forth, that context would be useful.
The plan is to have, first of all, let me excuse myself for my appearance. I didn't come prepared to address you all.
You look fabulous. Let's just say it.
Thanks for the thoughts. Anyway, the plan is, and the gentleman that Crystal was referring to is Martin Burkhart. He's
Welcome.
The president of Open Technologies, and he has worked with the district for many years. Our plan is to have all the school sites and the district office to have Columbine-style locks and upgrades to the handicap levers for all the classrooms by the 18th of August, before school starts again.
Fantastic, okay.
This process will not include changing a majority of our keys. The keys the staff has presently will remain the same. In some instances, they will have to be changed. But primarily, we will take care of every area where we have either staff and or students.
Thank you. That's very important, very exciting.
It's long overdue. I'm thrilled to have it happen. It's
Well,
been
trust me,
something that...
the reason why it's happening is this lady here and also Martin. We've had to put this together fairly quickly because it's not just being able to get it done, it's getting the materials. And as you can appreciate, most school districts are doing the same thing we're doing at this time of year.
Right.
Yeah.
Great.
And the fact that it can be finished before school starts is just kudos. Just
There again,
wonderful.
Martin is the gentleman who'll take care of that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And just a minor thing, it's El Granada School. It's in the contract as Granada School, and I wouldn't want anybody to think that it's something else. You know, the old teacher in me, it's just, anyway, it's a El Granada.
We will make sure that.
I know, it's just a minor point, Ed, but you know.
Well, we won't get done unless we have a motion to approve the contract. Would someone like to?
I so move to approve the contract with Opening Technologies to complete the Safe School Initiative upgrade.
With spelling correction.
With the spelling
And
correction.
second?
I'd like to second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. We're moving along nicely tonight. All right, 15 discussion items. We have 15A is a potential discussion item, conduct public hearing for the local control accountability plan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we
And
have
this
the
is,
option of.
this is simply opening the opportunity for the public to comment and just holding that window open.
Yep. Seeing no comment from the public, do any board members have anything they'd like to discuss on this at this time? No?
Together.
Okay, yep. Similarly, discussion item 15B, conduct public hearing on the preliminary budget for the 2014-2015 school year. So we had the presentation earlier. No one from the public here to comment. I think we had our questions during. Does anybody?
Yeah, I think the
So, I guess you need to officially
You have to gavel, open, close.
You have to public hearing and then close it.
On each item?
Yes.
Okay, so that's prior to, well, I guess I'll close 15, open 15A?
Open Yes.
15A. Open 15A for public discussion. Anybody like to discuss that? No, closing public session. Done. Opening 15B. Conduct public hearing on the preliminary budget. Seeing none, we will close. All right, thank you for the guidance, appreciate it. All right, so future board items, number 16. So approve local control accountability plan, adopt a budget for the 2014-15 school year. 16C, policies, maintenance updates. 16D, approve district school site staff development plans. E, approve school site plans. F, quarterly report on Williams uniform complaints, education code 35186. We do that frequently. All right, and then 17 is future events, and there are a lot of them. All right, May 31st, as Brenda mentioned, there's prom night, 6 p.m. at the Maritime Museum Pier, 27. Very nice location. Quite cheap.
She does have beautiful. Are kids going to it?
Yeah.
Are the bids being sold and?
I guess there was only one ticket left today.
Oh, wow. That's great.
After they heard cream was going to be dessert.
Outstanding.
Sounds like fun.
All right, June 3rd, probably not as exciting, but still important, the Chamber Education Committee meeting at 4 p.m. at the district office. June 5th, district-wide incoming kinder parent night and potluck, 6 p.m. El Granada Elementary. I will be there. June 10th through 12th, I know final exams at the high school, everybody's looking forward to that. June 11th, and guys, could we just call these out just so I can make sure I'm clear on what I'm covering? Who has them? So Pilarcitos, June 11th, 10 a.m.
I believe that's me.
Okay, that is you, Mr. Ahern. All
June
right.
11th at 10 a.m.
All right. And then district office boardroom. Oh, sorry, you got that. Farallon View. That's
I'm doing
That's
Farallon.
Kate. Okay. Cunha is at 6:30 on the 11th. I believe that's me. Yep. All right. Good. That's what I thought. And then on the 12th, El Granada at 8:30 in the morning. Do you know that? We just need to verify that if that's a thing.
Nobody else is.
All right.
Arm wrestling.
I think I'm doing El Granada. I'm El Granada.
Okay.
I'm not Hatch.
No,
Rob, are you Hatch?
I'm quite excited. Isabella Papalardo will be
Yes.
moving on from Hatch, so I'll be doing that at 9 o'clock on the 12th. Kings Mountain. All right. That's Freya. Thank you.
Oh.
Yep.
I'm doing Farallon. Yes.
And then there's a little ceremony at the high school graduation.
I'm in.
That's me as well.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
All right.
Mr. Ahern, all right. I'll be the shortest board member at the graduation.
13th?
What's that?
13th is it, right?
That's the
It's the
12th.
12th.
Okay. I'll have to mention last day of classes for all students. Let's not let that go by without mentioning it. All right, June 16th, Measure S Oversight Committee meeting at 6:30 at the district office. 17th, 18th, All Leadership Retreat. Sounds nice.
What's that involve, Tony? That's your staff, your team?
Yep.
Vegas again?
Right, yep.
Oh, correction, please. No.
Yes,
Miramar Farms.
if Las Vegas is located, a mile and a half down the coast.
Right.
No, I just want to comment. Miramar Farms, Jane and Mark Batty give us gratis invitation to come up to their conference center.
And it's lovely, so that's
Yes.
good for you guys. Apparently we'll be back here on the 26th, governing board meeting.
Bring your sleeping bags.
Bring your sleeping bag, there we go. And then June 30th, school offices closed for summer break. Great. We will return to closed session. So thank you, everybody who attended. Appreciate it. Boom.
Michael, Elizabeth, Mr. Ahern.
I've got my form, thank you. I'm returning, I'm noting the time now, Patty.
I was just going to say, why am I bringing my sleeping bag? It's on June
So you got
agenda.
Yes, I signed up for it.
Oh, gosh. Okay. I knew the budget was going to be on there.
Okay.
So,